Rubbish. Rubbish. I've had better hair days. Yeah, well. Hey there, hopheads, and welcome to the shed. I'm Even Star, and you're watching the beer in review. And the beer we have on review today is a porter from the famous Cloudwater Brewery of Manchester. Yes, another porter. Now, if you're interested in any porter facts, please check out the video I posted last week when I reviewed Aldi's own brand coffee porter brewed by Brains. This porter, like I said, brewed by the very famous Cloudwater Brewery from Manchester. Manchester is a place that's very close to my heart. Strange sort of story. Cloudwater, very famous, very well known, but it was like they weren't there one day and then they were there the next. They were everywhere. I very seldom get Cloudwater beer down here in the southeast. Whenever we're up in Manchester, I always look out for it. They do brilliant beers on tap if you can get it. And it's very rare that I can get Cloudwater even canned down here. I acquired this from a specialty bottled beer shop in my area. Now, this porter doesn't have a particular name. It's called A-W18 One-Off. So it was a specialty one-off brew that they've done. Something Cloudwater's very well known for. They're also very well known for the price of their beer. I think I paid almost £4 for this can. So I'm very interested because I'm looking at the back of the can here where it's giving me some information about it gives me some information about porters, but what's interesting about this particular porter is that it's been brewed with New World hops, and I'm very keen to see how that changes sort of the profile of that style of beer. Porter, as I said in last week's video, is very old traditional English style of beer. Really went out of favor for a very long time. I think it's going to be coming back into fashion. Have a moment. And it does have an image problem. It's one of those things that was sort of like old men drink ale and porter. So this, I hope, is sort of a new modern take on that style. So without further ado, let's get this beery show on the road. As you can see, comes in a can format. Cans, very popular among the micro brew community, I think because the equipment to can beer as opposed to bottle it, as well as the vessel itself, is cheaper than bottle. There's even some microbreweries in the UK who only produce beer for can retail. So that's something that's relatively new to the market in the United Kingdom. I'm always interested in developments in packaging. My profession is product management, and how you package your product is always very important when you're thinking about who buys it and how, and distribution. So I'm very interested in that trend. Let's crack it open. Yes, well, you can help me next week. So, on cracking it open, I immediately got a whiff of hops. Smells very hoppy. Yes, and that sort of New World resinous, spicy, grapefruity. There's also something, again, like porters, they tend to have this sort of beefy, Bovril OXO flavors sometimes, which sometimes I find a little bit overwhelming. Hopefully, they'll have balanced that out quite nicely. So let's see. Very dark brown, almost a reddish brown color. Nice head on that. That's what a friend of mine would call a northern head, because people in Manchester like a little bit of head on their beers like that. Down here in the south, it's got to be right up to the top. It smells good. It smells good. Let's try it. Very interesting. You do get that toasted grain flavor. Quite malty. Quite a lot of body to the beer as well. It's quite thick in the mouth. Bitter. Coffee bitter. Like roasted coffee bitter. It doesn't have that raw coffee fruitiness. It's quite a roasted coffee mellow bitter. There's some sweetness in there as well. So after the bitter, in the middle, there's a sort of malty, kind of chocolatey sweetness. And when it finishes, that's when you get, at the back, you do get a tang of grapefruit, mango, so that's that chocolatey sweetness sort of morphs into something fruity. It's almost like cherries and mango. Very complex. Yes, now that is a beer I could stand here for like an hour and sip that and keep talking about it. It's very complex. It has that sort of 3-stage of taste that you get with beer. You know, the aromas up front, what you taste right up front, that mellowing in the middle to chocolate, and that fruitiness at the back. Yes, like I could stand here but like for days and try and figure that out. Now, unlike the porter we tried last week, this is a beer that I would sit down to enjoy beer. This is not a beer that I would ruin with food, and it's not a beer I would ruin my food with either. I think there's too much going on there to not be enjoyed on its own. Even though they've used those sort of New World hops that, you know, bring out that tropical sort of grapefruit, mango, lime flavors, still tastes very portery. And I would say that at the end it does all kind of come together to give it that really beefy, substantial flavor, almost like, you know, like a beef stew gravy, but with enough bitterness going on that you don't think you're, like, you know, you're drinking soup. Very interesting beer. Again, one to sit and to be enjoyed. So there you have it. The A-W18 one-off porter from Cloudwater. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more beer reviews, please subscribe to my channel. You can also subscribe on Instagram, where I post lots of pictures about my adventures in beer out and about. Lots of reviews for beer on tap there, as well as other bottle type beers. I also post about my adventures in food, travel, sailing, and I will soon be sharing with you my adventures in home brewing. So, until next time, I'm Even Star, and you've been watching the Beer and Review.